Hi guys, how's it going? My name is Julian. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This video is a series of videos where I'm going to share a particular time in my life, a situation or a period where I felt I learned something valuable, both as an artist and as a human. In this episode, I want to talk about my time at Berklee College of Music. Obviously, I'm not going to go into details about every single quarter of the years when I was in Boston attending Berklee College, which was a dream came true for me. Right before attending Berklee College, I was a sailor. I was serving the army in Italy. I was technically in the Navy, and I was either on a boat or at the harbor master. So for me, it was impossible to perform live, attend studio sessions, and I had the need to keep myself motivated. And I thought, what would be a really, really good project, a really good thing to look forward to than trying to get into Berklee College, trying to get a scholarship and apply for the audition. At the time, the audition was a back and forth of documents and sending a transcription of a song, sending recordings of you playing, and also provide what today will be called a EPK, a press kit basically, telling what is your activity, if you've been releasing records, and providing the reason why you want to attend Berklee, what you think Berklee will help you achieve. When I got the admission letter to attend the Berklee College of Music, for me was literally a dream come true. Being in Boston, surrounded by so many musicians and artists that they were literally doing music 24/7, was something unreal at the beginning in a good way. And especially because for the first 6 months that I was at Berklee, I was living in a student house, which it was right next to the main Berklee building. At the time, was on Massachusetts Avenue, right in the center of Boston. And the guitar department was inside the Uchida building. And nowadays, I believe there are 5 or 6 buildings, and obviously, you can also attend Berklee remotely online. Arriving in Boston with practically knowing nobody, just me, a bag, and one of my guitars, was definitely a challenge, especially because even I had several international gigs under my belt. In particular, I had gigs like in Finland, in Germany, in UK. I was pretty active as a session player. I was playing guitar and bass with bands or solo artists. Definitely stepping in the Boston scene, which was quite competitive at the time. There were so many good musicians, especially for jazz, blues, but also in more niche genres like speed metal. And I remember people that they were really into like Yngwie Malmsteen or Racer X, Cacophony. So there was a whole scene about, a whole very niche scene about super technical stuff for guitar players. And then there was this whole other world of sound engineers, producers, singers. The amount of inspiration that you could get just by literally waking up and going to Berklee College of Music was incredible. One thing that definitely stayed with me for several years was that towards the end of attending Berklee College, I kind of like felt a little bit frustrated. And the frustration was because I felt that by going to Berklee College, I would become a better artist. Now, being a better artist is a completely different thing from being a great musician. And being a great musician is something that definitely Berklee College of Music can help you achieve. They got some of the best teachers in the world. For some instruments, probably the best ones, especially at the time. I had the luck of studying guitar with the likes of John Finn, Scott Terulli, but also doing lessons, like one-to-one lessons with Mick Goodrick, which still is one of my biggest inspirations. But also have lessons with the legendary Charlie Banacos, and I will share videos specifically about those teachers in details later on. or you can find them on my YouTube channel. And just by being next to literally artists that they spend their whole life exploring the possibilities of guitar, but also living the life on the road. Because I remember at the time John Thane was playing in a very popular Broadway musical called Rent, and Scott Cerulli was very active. He was an incredible teacher, really, really good, especially with me that I didn't come from a jazz background, and I literally wanted to push the boundaries and being able to listen to music that it wasn't just for guitar players. Not that I was stuck into the guitar player mentality, because my idols at the time were Frank Zappa, Miles Davis, anything that could push the boundaries. I mean, I was listening a lot to Ravi Shankar, but also to experimental music by the likes of Ryoji Ikeda, which is this like experimental noise avant-garde musician from Japan. Which, funny enough, later on, 4 or 5 years later, when I moved to Japan, I ended up collaborating with the Dump Type Collective, which was the same collective of artists Ryoji was part of. Anyway, the Berklee College of Music taught me that discipline is the key in order to achieve that technique that you need in order to express yourself. So it's pretty pointless to study. Maybe at the beginning, studying is very good, but studying just for the sake of studying, so learning a bunch of scales and noodling around on your instrument, is very fun when you're a teenager. And I remember having a great time when I was like 16, playing in speed metal tribute bands and just doing like back and forth with Pierangelo Gonella, which is an incredible metal guitar player, still active nowadays. Hi Pierre, if you're watching this. And that's cool, but then at a certain point you want to know if your identity is speed metal, or you are growing, or like kind of like getting into a different direction. Probably I will still play a lot of rock and metal if I would be still living in Italy. But the fact that I traveled around the world and I've been exposed to so many different cultures, it really pushed my boundaries and exposed me to different influences. Berklee College of Music is, and was also at the time, an extremely international and diverse college, which is amazing because you will meet people from any part of the world with any possible background, and had the opportunity to jam, talk, and also collaborate on projects together. I think that especially nowadays, more than at the time, because it was the beginning of the 2000s, basically, the beginning of the millennium is when I did Berklee College of Music. But even nowadays, where we feel we can know and learn everything, I think that the human aspect of learning in a school environment is not replaceable. And it's not really because of the teachers, or this myth that you're going to get the best teachers in the world only if you go to certain schools. It's more the social interaction aspect that really, really makes the difference, because it forces you to step out of your room where you're practicing your instrument like for 6 8 hours per day, and you're trying to get that perfect sound, that utopia idea of yourself playing certain type of music in front of people, and then maybe it's not even you. And then you find out that just by doing 5 gigs with 5 people that you randomly met in a college, you will learn more about yourself than those 2 years spent learning guitar in your room. So Berklee College of Music, just like the Musician Institute of Technology, the MIT in LA, and I remember there was another school in New York at the time. I think it was called the Collective or something like that. A lot of drummers, they were talking about that school when I was at Berklee, and they were going there to do workshops and seminars. But when I was at Berklee, I had also the opportunity of doing workshops and lessons with people that they were not at all in the same department that I was, because I was studying performance at Berklee. Initially, I was mostly interested in film scoring, but then I moved into the performance department. And I remember taking lessons with Michael Fisher, the head of music technology, incredible keyboard and synth player. And he was playing with Pink Floyd tribute band. I went to see him a couple of times. He even went to my place. I was living with a drummer at the time in Boston from Italy. That's another incredible story, and I'm gonna dedicate a video, just for that. But yeah, Mike Fisher came in and he fixed the cork triton, and it was just an incredible experience to see him working the sounds. At the time, there was no internet really. I mean, it was not the time of social media or YouTube, so you had to learn in person from the greats. And the other incredible experience was to take, I think, just one drum lesson with Mike Mangini, which was fresh from the tour with Steve Vai. I saw him playing with Steve Vai and Mike Keneally, actually in Italy, in Milan, for the G3 tour. That was ages ago. And it was with Joe Satriani and Eric Johnson. And then having the opportunity of seeing him like giving you the skills basically, and the tools about drums and about rhythm, because I was obsessed with rhythm. Still I am. But the rhythm is the key concept, and getting the feel and developing a sense for rhythm, because a lot of people were obsessed about ear training, which in at Berklee, and I was a lot into rhythm and understanding how just a change in the groove can make a massive difference in developing a sense and identity of rhythm. Berklee College is to me still the foundation of what made me a professional musician. The discipline, which I can compare to the same discipline an athlete will have when getting ready for the Olympics, basically. And also the opportunity of having teachers like Garo Edelman, Scott Terulli, John Finn, Mick Goodrick, and then many, many other teachers, but unfortunately I don't remember the name. I even shared a class with Psy, the South Korean artist, which a couple of years later he released this massive viral dance song. Actually, I can actually remember the name. But he was there. He was a very interesting character, wearing sunglasses and a black trench coat, and he was going around with a laptop, explaining that he was studying a way to put together tunes using loops and making beats, which it was alien language to me at the time, because like it's like Berklee 2000s. It was like, what is he talking about? But I could definitely feel that he was up to something interesting. I would have never thought that it would be the guy of I think it's Gangnam Style, by Psy. Anyway, stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I have a lot of stuff coming up. And if you're watching this video like in 2026, 27, or in the future anyway, and you find helpful to learn from my stories, or if you want to get a feel about how it was to be at Berklee in the early 2000s, and I'm going to have episodes about living in Tokyo, living in Copenhagen, and working with certain artists, being part of certain projects. Obviously, there is going to be a lot of behind the scenes of my own projects, and how does it feel to be a featured Grammy musician? How did I get there? And how to be involved with the music community in general, worldwide. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, because you're going to find a lot of this content coming up very, very soon. Ciao for now.